Gravitational waves have been seen February the 24th, 2016 11:04 GMT plus 7 TTCT on 11:02, the fourth instant calm tet in Vietnam. The scientists' observatory interferometer gravitational wave laser, LIGO, in Hafford, USA, announced the first wave absorption observed resulting in tapestry space-time to Earth from a distant place of the universe. Gravitational waves have been seen. Numerical simulation of gravitational waves emitted by the merger of two black holes spiral inward. The border around a black hole represents the amplitude of the gravitational radiation. The blue line represents the trajectory of the black hole. The arrows symbolize their spin source. See Higgs/NASA Ames Research Center. Gravitational waves have been born in the last moments of a second of the two black holes merged to create a single black hole spin. This collision of two black holes have been predicted but never observed, that the black hole event has a mass of about 29 and 36 times the mass of the Sun, and the event has occurred 1.3 billion years ago. The details that sounded even more mysterious. Fairies in Fairy. How can measure the distortion of space smaller than 1,000th the size of protons caused by a stroke from 1.3 billion years ago? Discover gravitational waves is perhaps the most difficult tests in the test for Einstein's general relativity theory, and brilliant than ever. It is characterized by general relativity and no equivalent of Newton's theory. Einstein predicted the waves were the 1916 and 1918 according to general relativity. Astronomers had to take about 50 years to detect these waves from the beginning, conducted in the 1960s, also long in time to find the Higgs. Discover also terminate the ongoing controversy after Einstein's articles are published. Gravitational waves are generated from. Why is it important? Gravitational waves are a consequence of general relativity 100 years ago. We launched similar electromagnetic waves born. If Maxwell, in the middle of the 19th century, based on its electromagnetic theory, rather, on the Maxwell's equations, predicted the existence of electromagnetic waves, Einstein, too, based on general relativity, or on the gravitational field equations of him, also predicted the existence of gravitational waves in the universe. Electromagnetic waves are ripples, horizontal waves, of electric and magnetic forces in space transmissions. They are generated by the movement of the charge. Visible light, infrared, ultraviolet, radio waves, X-rays, microwaves are examples of electromagnetic waves. Similarly, in the calculation, Einstein predicted gravitational waves in carpet broadcast space-time, also with the speed of light. This wave will be generated by the motion of massive bodies strong instead of the charge as the electromagnetic waves. This, to detect gravitational waves, offers a whole new perspective on the universe. Stephen Hawking. Electromagnetic waves. Similarly, if the two volumes of space around each other motion by gravity, such a system of two stars, they emit gravitational waves, taking away some of the energy from the system. There can be calculated by the Einstein equation. We also can create gravitational waves by brandishing a heavy iron block with lightning speed. It will emit a 10 to 30 watts of energy. Gravitational wave forms. Why do people care about gravitational waves though so difficult? With electromagnetic waves, they just observed the surface of the object, while the process of creating the star power for silently taking place inside. When one observes the cosmic radiation background that the DoWell on the surface traces of the atmosphere ultimately opaque about 380,000 years after the Big Bang, in phase recombinatio, when electrons and protons times first combine to generate hydrogen atoms, not observable Big Bang. With gravitational waves, we hope to hear loud echoes of the primordial Big Bang, black holes observed. understanding the underlying dynamics of the process of how the universe took place. Tapis not our time has always been shocked to ballast down by thunder attractive emanating from the cosmic disaster. The disaster could be a supernova explosion, supernova, the merger of two neutron stars, two black holes or galaxies, frightening phenomena in the universe. So gravitational wave detectors are promising to look into what happened inside the cosmic catastrophe. Quest for gravitational waves is long and difficult. Although energy from gravitational wave emission is greatly from cosmic catastrophe's service, but when it is too small to Earth after a road too far, with 1021 km in the case are saying. An important start is by Joseph Weber of the University of Maryland performed. In 1968, he built a rudimentary device includes multiple cylindrical 2 meters long, 1 meter diameter and the radio antenna gravitational wave detectors. In the early 1970s, he believes he has found evidence of gravitational waves emitted from the supernova SN 1987. Although subsequent experiments colleagues not confirm his results, a new astronomy using gravitational wave detectors such as the gravitational telescope started looming. Stephen Hawking also wanted to embark on the quest but quickly realized he was not good experimentalist. Then push ahead. The existence of gravitational waves has been demonstrated for the first time indirectly in the 1970s and 1980s by Joseph Taylor and Russell Hulse, Nobel Prize in Physics 1993. The two men discovered a binary system consisting of a pulsar moves around a neutron star and found that the pulsar spiral orbit is shrinking due to the emission of energy in the form of gravitational waves, which completely consistent with Einstein's calculations. How detect gravitational waves directly? LIGO detectors use the Michelson interferometer was used to detect the cosmic ether waves, but with a laser beam instead of visible light. Splitting a laser beam goes in two directions perpendicular to each of the 4-kilometer-long pipeline, then reflected back again so they are combined together to go into a photon detector. Normally if there is no gravitational waves above the two beams are synchronized and cancel after it had traveled the same road. A passing gravitational wave detector as a conduit to shrink or dilated than the other tubes. This difference makes the two beams do not cancel out each other and that the interference was observed in a detector. LIGO Observatory consists of two such laser interferometer located in Washington and Louisiana. The goal is to discover a change in length of the part in 1021 or the equivalent of 1 trillion diameter human hair. With such sensitivity, we hope to discover gravitational waves emanating from supernova to a neutron star or a black hole, or from the collision of black holes. Listening to the universe, the tireless efforts of researchers motivated by an irresistible urge. Mystery is what researchers want to understand other than our existence, our reality. Albert Einstein discovered gravitational wave is just the beginning of a new phase to listen to the universe. Listening to the universe or understand natural language of the 17th century are explored targets human world in the mysterious horizon. Science is liberated, the culture and the dynamics of modern society. The call of science lies deep in the human, because it says the desire to discover, understand and know the things related to each other. How to understand the obvious superficial sense and agents is equally important. To use this knowledge for the purpose of humanity, as to Rabbi, a Nobel laureate particle physicist and one of the spiritual fathers of CERN said. And because the voice that covers everything, universal, science should be no borders. Declaration discover gravitational waves launched at the upcoming 137th birthday of Einstein, March 14, 1879. This can be seen as a big gift for Einstein. He lost, but the world still continue his career with the scale than ever before. It would be great if you see Einstein's face when we could tell he was listening, explored by us. Rainer Weiss, a professor at MIT, one of the spiritual fathers suggest building Lego 1980s, said. Perhaps Einstein will stick blade a second time to say good friends egregious. He could not believe the descendants can do many things for him was impossible, as the exploitation of nuclear energy via E=mc2, then quantum EPR, the existence of black holes, the absurd constant lambda, discover gravitational waves. But all these things turn has come true. And then think about the post-Einstein born. They do not know how great Einstein. If alive, he would be more famous in 1919 when the deflectio of light was confirmed. The world of his channel. The man who was raised to be religious, co-author to God to carry out the potential that the Creator had hidden inside. Steven Weiberg said in the initial 3 minutes, people do not have to console themselves with the stories of the gods, also refused to limit his thinking into everyday life. No human should have to satisfy the new building telescopes, satellites and accelerators, now more Lego, spending countless hours at a desk, then to decrypt the data collected. Their desire is to understand the universe, improve people's lives off the stage of life even a little bit and give it a little bit with tragic dignity. Gospel gravitational waves made emotional outpouring in the community Vietnam, where rapid appearance quality articles is a marker for increased scientific love ladder, which Einstein's icons from Spring Green Nguyen, with input from Professor Dr. Nguyen Trog Hai and Pham Dua Yim.